Hey everyone, it's Alie over here and Avra over there.
Going?
Hope everyone can hear us fine. But yeah, welcome to our third live stream, our March recap. So for those of you that are new, in this live stream, we're basically just going to be going over what are the new products and content that we released last month. And let me tell you, last month was a lot of new products and content. You and Rob, Avra, were on it with the videos, so I'm really looking forward to just diving into it.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. So the first one, and let me. If you see me, by the way, looking off to another screen, that is because that's where I'm controlling the live stream. La, la, la. Where is this? Okay, cool. So our first new product announcement, which is the one that we had teased at the end of our previous live stream, is MicroE plus SparkFun. Woo! So basically, what this is it's a partnership with MicroE and SparkFun. For those of you who don't know MicroE or Microelectronica, they're basically an ecosystem of like 1,000 plus boards, each with their own specific focus. Kind of similar to Quick in that like it's a standardized way of connecting to the board, standardized interfaces, but they just have a crazy amount of boards. And we're really excited to be able to combine both their microbus and clickboard devices with our MicroMod interface and also an RP2040 board. So before we get into like the boards that we made specifically to interface with MicroE, we wanted to talk about some really cool MicroE boards and just highlight them first. So the first one over here is a MicroE like fever board. And Avra, this is one you had picked. Can you tell everyone a bit about it?
Yeah, I think this board is really cool. It's basically an integrated human body temperature sensor, and what's amazing about it is that it complies with the clinical like thermometer specifications. So the standards they use to make thermometers, and I really like this board because I built a project in the beginning of COVID that monitored your temperature and logged that. Um, so that you could come in and out of the office depending on what your temperature was, because we had to do those checks. And I thought this could be a really interesting board to use for those kinds of future projects.
That's so cool. So, question, is this like a board that you put under your tongue or like something that goes somewhere else in the human body? Like, where is it measuring the temperature from?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're putting it in your body at all. I think it's just monitoring close to the surface.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That would have been a little nerve-wracking otherwise.
Yeah.
Um, cool. So that's a sweet board, and it's kind of unique. I mean, it's very appropriate for COVID times, of course, and like the project you said you made. So the next board that we want to talk about, and this one's really cool because I know there are issues with other boards like this, but this is called the HydroProbe Click. And essentially, it's a capacitive soil moisture sensor. But what's really good about it is that it's more resistant to corrosion. Normally, when you have like a soil moisture sensor and you put it in the soil, it's basically just some exposed pads. And so, with watering your plant or whatever, with the elements, it'll eventually corrode, and it's probably not good for the plant, and it's definitely not good for the board. Do you have an idea of how it does that, Avra?
Basically, they explain that it's just through its capacitive measurement. Other soil moistures don't really use that kind of technology, and that's how it's able to do that.
Got it. Yeah, so pretty cool, pretty easy to use. And there's a note here that it can only qualitatively test the humidity of the soil. It can't quantitatively test it. So just something to note when you use it. So the next board that we want to talk about is a GPS board. And at SparkFun for the last, I don't know, year, maybe 2 years. You know better, Avra. Like we have been obsessed with GPS and GNSS. So it's really cool that MicroE has a GPS board. It uses a uBlox LEA 6S module. And yeah, it's just an easy, low power way of being able to use GPS. I think it uses like 121 milliwatts, right?
Yeah, and it can track up to 16 satellites. I've got it right here. It's
Oh, nice.
really nice, small in terms of GPS modules.
Sweet. Do you know how it compares to like our other GPS boards?
I'm not positive. I know it's a uBlox product, so anything in the uBlox line is going to be pretty robust with accessing lots of satellites.
True.
It doesn't have
Yeah.
RTK. It doesn't have some of those, extra capabilities. But for, a simple GPS project, I think this is a really easy way to add on tracking.
Yeah, more entry level, and it just uses so little power. Like one of the issues with GPS is that it can be so power hungry, and this using only 121 megawatts, megawatts. That's not a lot, little amount of power. Milliwatts normally, and then I think it has like a power saver mode that's like 36 milliwatts. So yeah, it's great. I'm really excited to try to use that in some like bicycle GPS tracking projects.
Exactly. It's great for mobile
So
projects.
totally, yeah. So the next one, let's see, is a temperature and humidity sensor. Temp humidity 15 sensor. Interesting. So you want to tell us about it, Aubrey?
Yeah, this is it's the SHT temperature sensor, isn't that correct?
Yes, I think that's right. Yeah, SHT
Yeah,
40. Yeah.
yeah. So it's got an accuracy of zero point 0.2 degrees Celsius, which
Oh
is
wow.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really robust temperature and humidity sensor. It's one of their best environmental sensors, and it's great for greenhouse projects. You could pair it up with the soil moisture clipboard, but it goes well with a lot of their other environmental sensor boards.
Yeah, and it has a like a temperature range of 5 to 60 degrees Celsius and a humidity range, a relative humidity range of like 20 to 80%. So yeah, it would be perfect for a greenhouse type project. Although I'm trying to think, it's in Miami if we get higher than 80% humidity, it kind of feels like it sometimes.
I
So
feel like it all the time.
yeah. Sweet. So then the last micro E board that clickboard that we want to highlight is their micro SD card click. And the advantage of this is like if you're doing a project with micro E and you have all your sensors set out and your processor and everything, and then you realize, oh, I need more storage. Like I wanted to add a camera and now I need the place to store those pictures, or you want to log more data. So this is just an easy way. You just plug it right into the microbus, and then you have an SD card, and you can use all of the storage on it. So it's pretty easy, and it uses SPI to communicate. So relatively
Yeah.
simple.
I think this exemplifies why accessing the MicroE ecosystem is so cool because you can just add on so many different clipboards depending on wherever your project is in the process. So even if you're halfway through and you realize you need an SD card, you can just click it on in and keep on moving through.
Yeah, it's great. It's something I really like about MicroE. There's just so many boards that they have, so you can mix and match. And then now this combination with all of our SparkFun quick boards and MicroMod, it's just expanding the ecosystem. Like there's no need to have siloed ecosystems. Let's make them all come together. So it's great.
Definitely.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've highlighted some really cool clickboards from MicroE. We want to talk about what are the boards that we made to be compatible with them. So the first one is a MicroMod MicroBus for MicroE carrier board.
Yeah.
Lots of micros. So it's pretty straightforward. As you can see there on the top, it has the microbus, which is like a standard like dual 8-pin header. Gives you everything like 3.3 volt logic, SPI, I2C, UART, a bunch of things. And then it has the standard like M.2 MicroMod. I knew that would happen. MicroMod connector. So you could swap out whatever processors you want. It also has some quick connectors, so you can connect to all of the different quick devices that we have. And yeah, it's just swapping out all the possible things that you want and making it easy to use. So sweet and easy.
Yeah, I've got it right here, and we've
Ooh,
got the STM board loaded in. I think a lot of our documentation works well with the STM processor board for getting started.
sweet. And how's like the documentation and user interface for MicroE?
It's really good. Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got a lot of different examples and GitHub repos. I have found that working with them is pretty good.
that's sweet. And they have this thing, what's it called? Necto Studio, right?
Hmm.
And it's like it's kind of like an Arduino IDE where you could just like connect your board to your computer, or using their code grip programmer, and then be able to program it easily, select what boards you want, see all the libraries, see all the documentation. So it's kind of like an all-in-one Arduino IDE. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, so you'll use the code grip programmer to get going with the MicroE products, and we have both of our SparkFun development boards loaded into their system already. So when you go to work with your board, you can easily click those and immediately start programming, and then they've got every single click library right there for you to just easily use.
Sweet. I love how simple it is. And
Yeah.
they also, to like simplify things even further, they have this Click Cloud, which is just like an IoT cloud platform. So you don't have to deal with all the orchestration and the like API calls to whatever your favorite cloud provider is. So just across the board, MicroE is trying to make things easier and expand their ecosystem, and we're really happy to be a part of it. Oh, and the other micro E board that we made, well, MicroE SparkFun compatible board that we made is an RP2041, like Avra said a little earlier. And it's simple. It's just like a RP2040 with a Things Plus or Feather pinout, so that you can use whatever clickboard from MicroE you want with an RP2040. Plus, it has a quick connector, so furthering the easiness of developing. It seems to be a trend with MicroE. Okay, so that was a lot of MicroE. We're super excited for it. I think at launch, or at this point, we've released like 400 different boards from MicroE. They have like 1,000 plus click boards, but we have like 400 or so in our store. And then we're adding a bunch of boards every week. So stay tuned. If you want to buy it all in one place, you can do it at SparkFun. If there's more things you want to buy to be from MicroE, then you could go to their website as well, and check out all the clickboards they have and use those with our MicroMod or RP2040 carrier boards. So lots of different ways that you could do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of MicroE, Microbus, MicroMod. Before I mess up again, let's move on to another topic, another product that we only recently got in our store, but it's something that actually came out, I think, in December of 2021. And it's the Arduino Uno Mini LE, limited edition. So everybody knows the classic Arduino Uno, the R3 specifically. It's, about this big, like about Raspberry Pi size, a little wider, a little shorter. Um, and it's, a great microcontroller. It's the first microcontroller that I programmed with years ago. In fact, my first Arduino was a SparkFun red board, so that's fun. Definitely helped in my interview here. Um, but yeah, this mini LE, the point of it is just a much smaller form factor. I don't have one in front of me because I'll tell you in a second why. But it's a much smaller form factor, and the LE part of it is that each one is individually numbered, which is really cool and must have been a lot of effort. So you can see here what the back of it looks like. And if you look at the top right, it says R700. So I think the one I have is like A500 something. I'm guessing, I don't know what order they're doing, if they're doing Arduino to do the letters or if they're just going alphabetically. But yeah, it's,
Yeah,
what?
I was just saying that's interesting.
Yeah, I was wondering. So yeah, we have a few of these still left in stock. Get them while you can. Um, one of the also cool things about it, and let me show it to you guys, is it comes in a really cool box. So people who like to collect like limited edition things, keep them in the box. Don't ever open them. You could do that with this, and the box has the signatures of all of the Arduino founders. Plus, it has a handwritten number, your like serial number. So in this one, it says the R700. So the cool project, well, the cool thing I wanted to show you of why I can't show you my Uno Mini Alie right here in front of you is because I made a project, and it's actually been behind us this whole time. It's a picture frame of it. And so I'm not the type of person who like collects boxes of things and never opens them. I like to open them. I like to use them. It's fun. But this is such a beautiful box and everything. I wanted to incorporate that in some sort of project. So I'll pop up this video so you can see. And it's a frame with LEDs on the inside, coloring up the entire thing, showing the beautiful box, and it's powered by the Uno Mini LE. I may have had to do some destructive things to the back of the box to do that, but I think it's never leaving this frame, so it'll be okay. I didn't plan on reselling this in 30 years or so. So yeah, it's a pretty frame. And I'll be posting a blog about that at some point, as soon as I can, basically. Um, yeah, so that's that. Have you bought a Uno Mini, Avra?
No, I wish we have one in
Yeah.
the office. I've been wanting
Oh,
to play
you
with.
gotta get one. Yeah, and it's so small. Like I want to buy more of them, but I mean, so I don't know any insider information of this, but I hope that they make a Uno Mini non-limited edition that is cheaper so that I can just put them everywhere. Because I tend to use Arduinos for so many projects. It's just easy, and I have like a dozen of them in my home.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's that. Now, before we go on to the next thing, I realized I forgot to wait for some Q&A questions from MicroE. So we're going to go back to MicroE for a second and see what questions we got. So one comment that we had was, seems like great value for a board, no matter if you started down the route of MicroE or Quick or MicroMod. All you need is this board to bridge them all together. Thanks, person. I don't know who commented it, but thank you. You're totally right. It's just bringing everything together. Like, no need to have silos. And then Angel, that was Juno who commented that. Juno, I think Juno works for us. Thanks, Juno. um, and then somebody else said Angel from Mexico. Cool, Mexico, sweet. Hi, hola, ¿cómo está? Hello, there is some tutorial of some SparkFun driver to perform the PID control of a DC motor with magnetic. Okay, so they're asking if there is a tutorial of the SparkFun driver to do PID control of a DC motor with a magnetic encoder using Arduino. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know there must be one in somewhere in the world. I don't know if we have one. We have like magnetic DC encoders, right, Avra? I'm not sure. I feel like I've seen one on the store. Yeah, I would just check Angel, the product page for our magnetic DC encoder, for like motor encoder. There should be like a getting started guide there, and if not, I mean, Google. There's always something. Oh, and our forums, you can always ask there. It's pretty active. There's a lot of people on there, so I'm sure you'll get an answer there as well. Okay, so that's it for the questions and comments. Now we can move on to the next thing. Let's see. So, unrelated to MicroE, but related to MicroMod, we released a new function board for MicroMod. It's an Ethernet function board. You want to tell us about it, Avra?
Yeah, again, I've got it. I've got all the
Ooh,
boards here.
got all the boards.
Um,
Jealous.
it's Yeah, it fits into our MicroMod main boards, so you can pair it up with the environmental sensing board, for example, like I did in a project recently. But this is super cool. It's based on the W5500 module from WizNet, and it's an Ethernet board. It connects your project up to internet without having to do any other kind of IoT. So you just get cable, plug it into your Ethernet, and it works super simple. I used it with the Teensy board because Teensy has really great library for Ethernet, and yeah, I think it's a really great way to give your project internet access without messing with ESP32 or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's PoE, right?
It is, so you can power it over
So
the Ethernet.
cool. Oh my God! So you just have one wire to your project. You don't need to have power and internet, and that simplifies a lot of things,
It
especially with
really
like
makes
embedded things. Like if you're putting something in walls and you already have Ethernet routed through your building or house, that makes your life so much easier. Sweet.
yeah.
And there was one thing I read about it where it also has like wake on LAN. So I
Mhm.
presume you could then have the wake on LAN communicate to whatever processor you're using to then also wake that up. So you could have the, well, I guess this isn't necessary on in a low power application, but you could save power regardless by doing the wake on LAN function. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to think about your use case and what you're trying to do, but you definitely
totally.
could do that.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you're like deploying them in a remote place and you just want to use Ethernet for everything and it's all battery powered, then that could work. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome. You get lots of options with it. That's sweet.
Yeah, but it's very cool. I feel like we've got pretty much all the IoT options now in our MicroMod line. So you could do Wi-Fi, you could do Bluetooth, you could do Ethernet, cellular, and LoRa. So you pretty much have every option available to you now.
Sweet. I love it. It's the
Yeah,
not trifecta, but it's everything.
yeah,
Just connecting everything together,
exactly.
whether it's MicroE or different communication interfaces. It's everything's connected. Love it. I can't imagine, I don't know, making projects like 20 years ago when you had to build everything yourself.
I
That
know.
must have been so much more difficult.
It's a different world.
Definitely a different world. And I'm showing my age by saying 20 years. Like, yeah. Anyways, I'm a youngling. So, moving on to the next thing. This is also a new ecosystem that we're bringing into SparkFun, and it's from what's their name? Breadboard
Mhm.
Mates. So it's their TIMI ecosystem, or Tiny Integrated Modular Instrument ecosystem. And basically, what it is it's an ecosystem with a bunch of various adapters and a bunch of like really high quality displays that you can connect to Raspberry Pis or breadboards or even like MicroE through Microbus. And they've created the software so that you can easily use a bunch of pre-made interfaces with it. So if you wanted to do like an odometer from a car looking thing, or maybe not the odometer, but is the odometer the speed one? I forget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So the odometer from a car, they have a really pretty interface, and I should have added the image to this, so that you're able to just, instead of having to build that from scratch, like design it from scratch, do all the coding to see like, okay, how do I move a needle like this? It's already there for you. So sweet, another all-in-one ecosystem that we're really excited to support. And we've got a few boards from them. So this one is the Timmy 96, and it's a 0.96 inch TFT display. And what were some other features of it? It has like really wide viewing angles, right, Avra?
yeah. Well, here it is. It's really actually tiny. It's super small, and like, yeah, I just want to go reiterate what you said, that all I did was, click it onto the adapter and it's ready to go with the MicroE ecosystem right away. And Breadboard Mates has, again, really good documentation, and you can also use the Timmy with Raspberry Pis and other interfaces as well.
Sweet. Yeah, I have on screen what the adapter looks like so everybody could see.
Yeah,
This is the Timmy to microbus click socket adapter. So sweet. And this has its own processor, right? It's yeah, it
mhm,
has a oh wow, it has a graphics processor too. That's I'm just looking at the product page to see.
yeah.
Ooh, this is great
Well,
for like really small like wearable applications or like embedded somewhere, like just an easy to use screen that looks good and everything. I like it.
yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, Juno says the Timmies look so useful for breadboard debugging. Yes. And oh, there's an Arduino question here from Marlon from Albania. Oh my gosh, we have a worldwide audience. That is so cool. It must be late for you. I guess it's close to midnight, I imagine, for you. Oof. Well, thank you for watching it, the stream. But their question is MicroMod Ethernet compatible with Arduino? It is, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely is. And depending on whatever processor you use, you can load up the Ethernet example from Arduino and it'll run on the Ethernet board.
Sweet.
So it's
Easy
super
enough.
easy to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, super easy. So there you go, Marlon. Hope that answers your question. So going back to Timmy and breadboard mates, here you have the Timmy to click adapter. There's also a Timmy to Pi adapter,
Mhm.
and then they have a bunch of other things like a stand and different starter kits and some programmers. The other one I wanted to show you guys was they have this TED 96, which is essentially the same thing as the Timmy 96, but it's made for like integration rather than like on its own form factor. So if you were making a case for some product and you wanted to integrate one of their displays into it, this is the one you would use rather than the Timmy 96. So I like the options. It's the OEM version. That's the name of it. I was forgetting what that type of product was called. The OEM version. So that's the TED 96. And then they have a bigger version, a Timmy 130, which I'm guessing is 1.3 inches. I'm guessing the 96 is 0.96 inches. So yeah, bigger screen. And then they have a bunch of like kits as well. There's like a starter kit for a smaller screen as well, and it includes like the Timmy Click so that you can connect it to the microbus. And yeah, it's great. It's a good ecosystem. I'm excited that we have it now. I kind of want to get one in my hands. I'm jealous that you have them already, Avra. Oh my
And
god,
so,
the lights turned off.
um,
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, the LEDs of the SparkFun logo
my,
look so cool with the lights off.
these, these turn off every sec when no one's walking around. So
That's so
I have to go
funny. You
every
have to
so
like
often.
be waving your arms during the stream to keep it on.
It's
Okay, so anyways, it doesn't look like we have more questions. So we'll go on to the next thing. We also released, well, SparkX released a new small board. So we've been talking about it, for, the small boards, for the last couple of streams. There seems to be always like a new small board coming out. And this one is an OLED display. So it's a little teeny tiny, like 0.91 inch display. It's like 128 by 32 pixels, super small. And yeah, the idea is that you just connect it to the rest of your small boards using the ribbon cable or the Flex PCB cable. So pretty easy. Just a note, with all SparkX products, everything's tested, but we don't provide support for it. Like no technical support and no like live support. So just something to know. We make no guarantees of it, but it will work. Yeah. So Sweet. Do you have any project ideas for this board?
They actually, I love the one that they have in the example with the little ping pong graphic.
Oh, I
Um,
have that
it's,
video actually. Here, let me
yeah,
put it up. There we go. That's great.
yeah, I think it's genius, and it's just on a tiny OLED screen, and I think it's perfect for this kind of
Yeah,
board.
it would be cool. So Juno said someone should make a silly arm waving bot to keep the lights on in the studio. I doesn't didn't Rob for Halloween make like a candy throwing robot? You could probably just repurpose that.
That would
um, yeah. But more on topic for the small board, it'd be cool if because it's like an inch in length, so it'd be cool if you like had made gloves with the board as like your different like bones on your hand, and then have it do different things. I don't know what it would display, but it's so small
yeah,
that that would be pretty doable, you know?
yeah, it could even just be like a Halloween costume. Yeah, like putting the OLEDs on gloves
Yeah.
and having some skeletal structure displayed.
Yeah, and since they're connected with the flex cables, like you could actually like bend your finger. I guess, you know, the board isn't flexible, but the connection back to the main board is, so that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I wonder if we would have to use like five like main boards, like let's say the ESP32 board with five displays, or if we could hook up the five displays to a single one.
yeah, I
Huh.
do wonder if it could be a single. Be a good
Yeah,
project.
yeah, something to ask SparkX. We'll see for next Halloween. So yeah, it doesn't look like we have any questions about the small board. So now we're going to move on to our last big product release that we want to talk about, and this one is a huge one. It's actually a revision of a really popular product that we used to have, or well, now used to have. And Avra's going to give us some more info about it since she's more familiar with it. But the product is, drum roll, Myoware! Woo! So it's Myoware 2.0, and Avra, you want to kick it off and tell people about it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, we just have to say, for starters, that MyAware, isn't a medical device. We're not saying you can use it for any sort of diagnosing or use cases in medical situations, but it is a really cool device that you can use for robotics, for video games, and for all sorts of motor controls. And basically, how it works is, surface electromyography, or EMGs, basically work by sensing when your brain wants your muscle to flex. It sends these electro waves, and an EMG can basically pick up on that. So we initially came out with MyAware version 1 in about 2016, and this is what it looked like. It's pretty big and very cool, but it's just a little clunky, and it's got two pads on it. So what we just came out with is the new MyAware system that is this big. It's tiny, and it's got three pads on it, and we've added more boards, and it's just a really good revision on an already really cool line. So I'd say, the better parts about version 2 are, number one, it's got the three snap form factors. So you're minimizing all the soldering you had to do in the previous version. We've also added an Arduino shield so that you can connect it into an Arduino and add up to 6 sensors. And then we've also developed a bunch of Bluetooth examples so that you can connect multiple Arduino shields together and make really cool projects.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I want to try this. So, in case anybody hasn't seen the like magnificent video that Rob made that we just posted a few days ago, you have to see it. But in case you haven't, here's a little preview of what in the world Rob did. Hold on, let me get this up. It's I swear the best video I've ever seen from Rob. Okay, let me see.
So let's see
Okay,
what we
there
have.
we go.
Assume the Terry Crews position. Let's see, right right quad, we've got kick drum. Right bicep, snare drum. Left forearm, ride cymbal. Left pec, hand claps. So let's see what we have.
That was so good. So
Was
that's just like a little preview of what he did. There was so much more to it. You have to watch the video. Yeah, it's everybody in our internal chat was going crazy when we saw the video. So highly
but
recommend it.
he does a great job of using pretty much all of the Myoware parts that we came out with. He used the Bluetooth examples to talk between two different Arduino shields. He used an example earlier on with the LED shield that we have. And of course, he had multiple sensors going to different muscles to, play different types of drums.
Yeah, it's so good. Please watch the video. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. And so since Rob was like such a big part of this video, we wanted him to talk to you guys, but he wasn't available for the stream, so he very kindly recorded a video for everybody. So here, I'll play that for you all now.
Hey, Alie. Hey, Avra. Hey, SparkFans. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I got to work with the Myoware 2.0 muscle sensors, and I can't tell you how much I love these things. I always have since their original incarnation. Anatomy, physiology, kinesiology have always been super important to me in my life, in my former career, and being able to measure that, to read it, and then to do something with the output, for me was just a blast. We had some issues when my laptop was plugged into the wall and I didn't have a USB isolator, but we worked around that by going wireless, and you can find out about that in the hookup guide. But just so much fun to use, so ridiculous, but also useful. Robotic arms. Former funny of ours was working on extendable and retractable Wolverine claws. You flex your forearm, they shoot out, you relax, they retract. So many options. One thing I learned about this is that if you want to do a video where you fake a workout montage, well, it turns out you still actually have to work out. You have to run the stadium at Red Rocks. You have to do the box jump burpees. Yeah, so I do that often. I'll find myself thinking of a great idea for a video and then realize actually I have to do those things. But I digress. Yeah, I love the Myoware 2.0. I will be doing more demos, more ridiculous, crazy, cool projects with them in the future, so keep an eye out for that. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments here in the video. Drop them in the comments section on the products, on the video at YouTube, the original product video. But yeah, get these things. They're so cool. That's all I got. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay.
What a smooth transition. We're getting better at this. I hope we are. So cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Again, watch the video. It's really cool. Something to note, though, with Myoware, unlike basically everything else that we release, Myoware is closed source and patented. We're not the one who closed sourced it and patented it. It was somebody else. But we've made this version of it so that it's easier for everybody to use. So it'll still be useful for all the projects you want, so long as it's not medical, not for medical use cases. Have to say that again. Cool. So we just want to go over, very quickly, the different shields or sensors that we came out with for Myoware. So this is the muscle sensor that Avra was talking about with the 3 contact points. And you just have to use these pads, right? These sticky pads that the electrode goes onto. Yeah.
Yeah, just like this, and they snap in super easy into the Myoware muscle sensor, and then you can put it on a muscle group. And there's actually a lot of documentation at myoware.com for the best ways to place them, and just more on the technology.
Sweet. Love it. And then there's also a power. Oh, and those muscle sensors are disposable. But yeah, you probably assume that if you're out measuring somebody running and they get all sweaty, I would imagine you would want to dispose of them and not reuse them for someone else. Okay, so the other one is a power shield. So it comes with a really small little battery plus a USB-C connector. So you can power it either through the battery or the USB-C, and you can charge the battery through the USB-C connector. So simple way of powering it, pretty easy. We also have the Arduino shield that Avra was talking about it. So it just goes right on the Arduino and then has a bunch of like 3.5 millimeter audio jack connectors so that you can then connect it. Yeah, there you go. So that you can then connect all of the Myoware sensors over the wire to the Arduino. So easy way. We also came out with a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. It's basically an audio jack cable with the 3 poles on it so that you can use it when using your Myoware. This is the cable, by the way, if you don't know what an audio jack cable looks like, which, I mean, nowadays with phones not having it, it's possible that you don't. So then there's also the link shield. And what was this link shield? This was to basically just connect the Myoware to the Arduino shield, right?
Yep,
Sweet.
it's exactly it. It's connected to the Arduino microcontroller.
Got it. Okay. Sweet. And then we also have, there's this one's cool. It's an LED shield. So it has a bunch of like rectangular LEDs, plus a battery, plus the USB-C connector. So it's kind of like an all-in-one. And, you know, if you could just have Myoware just strapped onto your arm or something and then have an interface right there of what you're doing. So very cool all-in-one use case. And in Rob's video, he kind of showcases it a bit too. And then there's the cable shield. So what was this one? What was the cable shield? I forgot. There were so many products.
I know. I'm keeping up on the document too. Yeah, so this just allows you to connect like the traditional 3-electrode sensor cable. So it's like great for testing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because we also came out with the this reference cable. So I presume if you just want to have like the cable directly connected to the board and versus having the electrode right under the board, that's what you would use. So sweet, lots of options for all your Myoware use cases. I really can't wait to see what people are going to do with it. I'm really excited. Avra, you were telling me about some like werewolf project that happened at some point.
Yeah, well, there's been tons of wearable projects from the guys over at Advancer Tech who helped make this. So you check out, Myoware.com, and even Rob spoke about it. But the clock, extending, gloves. There's really a lot that can be done. Building costumes, building robotics projects that you control from just flexing. It's an incredible line.
Sweet. Yeah, there was like a Wolverine project. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's cool, super cool. Oh, maybe like when you flex the muscles in your hand, it would extend something out, or maybe not your hand, but like something in your arm, like to detect the finger muscles because they're like right here. That would be cool. That would make sense. Like we just figured out what the Wolverine project was with zero context. On the fly, figuring things out. So that's Myoware. I see we do have one Myoware question from Juno, and they ask, is a dedicated Bluetooth or Wi-Fi shield in the works for Myoware? And is there any chance that despite the licensing issues, a shield footprint will be made available? That's a great question, Juno. I don't know the answers to that. I imagine the footprint would be made available because we made the shield. But don't take my word for that. Do you have any idea about the if we have any like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi shields in the works, or if we can even say?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm not sure we do, but you never know. So maybe it'll be in Myoware 3.0.
Okay, yeah. If they're not Juno, then I guess we'll start working on it now. Cool. So that's Myoware, everyone. And MicroE and the small boards and the Timmy boards. So many boards that we came out with last month. Literally, I think we added, it must have been like, it's over 400 boards that we added last month to the catalog, which is just insane. It's one of our largest months ever, at least since I've been at SparkFun. and we're super excited. We hope everybody likes it.
Yeah.
So with that, we have some cool content that we want to talk about. We still have time, so let me scroll down in the document to see what was the cool content. So there's a few things. Avra, I know you wanted to give a sneak peek, well, not a visual sneak peek, but tell everybody about a cool project that you're working on now, right?
Yeah, well, it kind of ties into what we were talking about with MicroE. So I'm excited to get some of their environmental sensors and specifically that soil moisture sensor we were talking about, and build my own little, um, you know, enclosed greenhouse. So that's in the works right now. And what's been really fun about that is choosing when I want to use quick environmental sensors and choosing when I want to use MicroE environmental sensors. So it's been, the soil moisture is a great example. It's just less corrosion conducive with the MicroE product, so I went with that in that case. But there's just so many options that it's a really cool evolving project.
That's awesome, and that's the great part of combining these ecosystems. You get expanded, like you can do so many more things when the ecosystems talk to each other. So I can't
Yeah.
wait to see the greenhouse. That'll be cool. Do you know what plants you're going to grow in it?
I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking probably lettuce because it seems like the price of lettuce is rising these days. So it might be
Yeah,
nice to have a little lettuce container for myself.
cool. Yeah, I am resisting making a lettuce pun. So that's sweet. So yeah, stay tuned for that coming out whenever it comes out.
In the next couple weeks.
What?
In the next couple weeks.
Oh, sweet. That's so soon. Awesome. Cool. So then the next thing that we wanted to talk about was this ARM Open Innovation Lab. So ARM, ARM, the creator of the architectures that's basically used in all of our phone CPUs and GPUs and my smartwatch and a lot of microcontrollers. They have made an open innovation lab in South Africa, and it's a partnership. I think it's called the E3 or the Engage lab in partnership with Cortex Hub. And the idea of it is to bring easy access to ARM technology to the South Africa region. And allow for students to take workshops and learn about it and play with the technology, and then also allow for startups and other businesses to get hands-on access to the technology and people who know how to use it, and of course further resources by learning about it in the workshops. So it's a really great initiative that ARM is doing. They're going to be using a bunch of SparkFun boards in their catalog because we have so many ARM boards that they can use. So it's a really great initiative. And maybe one day we'll get to visit it and take some videos of it. I'm sure Cassie and Rob would love to do that.
And I think one of their workshops that they're doing is focusing on image classification of fruits. And they're using MicroMod RP2040 with the machine learning carrier board and a high-max imaging camera. So they're doing really cool stuff in their workshops.
Yeah, so it's not simple stuff. It's really technical stuff they're doing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're bringing it to communities who may not have the same access like what we have here in the U.S. So I love it. Happened again.
My apologies.
No worries. It's funny every time it happens. Won't get old. Cool. So that is the ARM Innovation Lab. And I have some pictures that I could show everyone of it. Let me switch back to the other view. So yeah, just somebody there. I don't know. Stock photo? No, it's not a stock photo. They have the ARM t-shirt. But yeah, somebody learning about how the breadboard there. Some students here learning how to code. And then here is an image of the innovation lab itself. So looks nice. Looks like a really nice space for people to learn about ARM products. So that's the innovation lab. the next one, the last one, is it the last one? Yeah, I think it's the last one that we want to talk about. Let me move our views back for a second. Here we go. There we go. So the last one is a Renesas webinar. So Renesas just hosted a webinar a little while ago, and they featured us in it. Essentially, what the webinar was how to use like ultra low power Wi-Fi with AT commands, which is how like a lot of like cellular devices communicate to each other. Like if you've ever tried to communicate with a USB modem, it uses AT commands. So yeah, in the webinar, they go through the functionality of this Renesas DA16200 chip. That's basically just for ultra low power Wi-Fi. They highlight and explain like how to use the AT commands, which I've used AT commands before. It's kind of confusing. Might have been because I was using it on a specific device that was kind of confusing. But yeah, that's super helpful that they explained it to everybody. They also showed how to like implement the Wi-Fi details on like the host MCU, and then at the end they showed you how to get the Wi-Fi working on a SparkFun board that was using the DA16200. It was a SparkFun quick Wi-Fi shield. It was just quick, or was it for Arduino? I don't remember. It kind of looked like an Arduino form factor. But yeah, so that was that. Just wanted to shout out Renesas for including us in there. If you want to get access to that webinar, you can, I think Cassie, our moderator, is going to be posting the link to it, hopefully. And it's right on our blog, if not. So yeah, that's basically all the topics we wanted to cover. We thought this live stream was going to take longer than it did. We're actually perfectly on time. That's great. High five, Avra. Ooh,
Nice.
getting better at this.
Nice.
So if anybody has any final questions or comments, please type them in now. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's, while I stall, to see if there's any other questions or comments. What are some cool things that we're working on, that I'm working on? I mean, the Uno Mini frame was really cool. It was more complicated than I thought it would be, only because my 3D printer stopped working. Well, I've been having 3D printing issues, so midway, like as I was doing a print for the frame, the wires on the stepper motor broke off because they weren't properly secured, so it was like bending back and forth for however many times the 3D printer went back and forth. So I had a failed print, but I was able to recover it, so that was at least a good part of it. It was different than what I originally wanted, but it worked out. So yeah, it looks like there's no more questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining the stream. Thank you to everybody, from whether you are from the various places in Europe and in Central America. I guess Mexico's in North America. But yeah, thank you, everybody from around the world who is watching the stream. So cool to have you here. Follow us on socials. Reminder, the next live stream is going to be on May the 3rd. I wish it was May the 4th. That would have been fun. We could have had a whole Star Wars live stream and maybe get demonetized on YouTube, but whatever. We'll see you on May the 3rd. Follow us on social, follow us on Hackster, and yeah, thanks everybody for watching. See ya.
Thanks, everyone. Happy hacking.
Happy hacking.